1. The silence between you. Have you ever noticed the subtle, quiet shift when someone you love begins to pull away? It does not always happen with a loud argument or a sudden, dramatic departure. It happens in the empty spaces, the shortened replies, the details of their day they no longer offer, the distant look in their eyes when you try to connect. What if the silence you are desperately trying to fill is not an empty space to conquer, but a profound truth you are refusing to hear? If you have ever felt invisible, anxious, or emotionally exhausted by someone who used to see you perfectly, this is for you. Here is the truth few people want to face. Most of your suffering in this moment is not caused directly by their distance. It is caused by how tightly you are holding onto them, trying to drag them back to where they used to be. You feel the gap growing. You sense the cold shift in their energy. And in response, your mind goes into a frantic overdrive. You replay conversations, searching for where things went wrong. You wait endlessly for a message that carries the warmth of the past. You try to fix it, to ask the right questions, to mold yourself into whatever you think will make them open up again. You are carrying the entire weight of the connection, and you are exhausted. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that one of the deepest roots of human suffering is our refusal to accept impermanence. We suffer deeply because we cling to a fixed image of how things used to be, or how we desperately wish they would be, rather than facing the reality unfolding right in front of us. This is the painful trap of attachment. When you tie your fundamental sense of worth and inner peace to the shifting behavior of another person, you surrender your center. You become a leaf blown by a wind you cannot control. Imagine standing on a quiet beach, watching the tides slowly roll out. The water retreats, pulling away from the shore, back into the deep ocean. If you run after it, frantically scooping the water into your hands to bring it back, what happens? The water simply slips through your clenched fingers. You cannot force the ocean to stay at your feet. The harder you squeeze, the less you hold. You are only left with wet, empty hands and a tired heart. In everyday life, this looks like sending paragraph-long messages to someone who replies with a single word. It looks like staying awake, agonizing over why they no longer share their fears, their jokes, or their dreams with you. It looks like compromising your own dignity to buy a little more time in a space where you are no longer truly welcomed. You are trying to hold water in your hands. You are fighting a tide that is naturally pulling away. Think about your own life right now. Ask yourself a difficult question. Is your constant effort to bridge this gap actually bringing you closer to them? Or is it only pulling you further away from yourself? What are you so afraid will happen if you simply stop trying to force the connection? Pause, breathe, let that reality settle in your chest. You do not have to chase what is already leaving. You are not powerless, and your worth is not defined by someone else's willingness to share their life with you. Observe the anxiety rising in your mind without following it down the dark spiral. Let the feeling of loss rise without making it your entire identity. Because peace is not found by dragging someone back into your world. Peace is not something you chase. It is something you make space for, even when that space feels incredibly lonely and quiet. But letting go of the desperate need to control their distance is only the very first step. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. The illusion of fixing. What if the harder you try to repair the distance, the more you dismantle your own peace? Here is a painful realization. When someone we love begins to share less of themselves, our immediate instinct is to fix it. We treat their silence as a puzzle we must solve, or an error we must quietly correct. You start analyzing every past interaction, wondering if you said something wrong. You walk on eggshells, carefully choosing your words to avoid pushing them further away. You overcompensate, offering more affection, more time, and more energy, hoping that if you just give enough, they will finally open up again. You exhaust yourself trying to rebuild a bridge that the other person is silently walking away from. In Buddhist thought, this frantic effort is rooted in the illusion of control. We suffer deeply because our ego convinces us that if we just try harder, if we are just a little more perfect, we can manage the feelings and actions of others. Buddhism reminds us that we cannot control the inner weather of another human being. To try is to fight the nature of reality. Their retreat is not a problem for you to solve. It is an experience for you to observe. When you try to force a connection that is fading, you are often not acting out of love. You are acting out of fear. The fear of loss, the fear of rejection, and the fear of sitting alone in the quiet. Imagine a heavy wooden door in a quiet hallway. Someone you care about has stepped behind it and gently closed it. What do you do? In your panic, you might stand at the threshold, knocking endlessly. You jiggle the handle, you lean your weight against the wood, scraping your knuckles, raising your voice, hoping for it to open. But the harder you bang on the door, the more exhausted you become, and the quieter the room on the other side seems to grow. In our modern lives, this closed door takes many forms. It is the long, agonizing wait between their brief text messages. It is the way they change the subject when you try to talk about something meaningful. It is the heavy feeling in your chest when you realize you are the only one making an effort to connect. You keep knocking, offering your time and your heart, hoping they will let you back in. But all you are doing is bruising your own spirit. Think about your own life. Ask yourself right now, why do you feel that it is your responsibility to carry the emotional weight of two people? What are you trying to prove by staying at a door that is no longer opening for you? Is this constant effort truly about loving them, or is it about soothing your own profound fear of being left behind? Stop trying to force the door open. Breathe. Take a slow, deliberate step back from the threshold. You do not have to walk away completely right now, but you must stop knocking. Do your part in a connection, offer your warmth, and then quietly release the outcome. Let them have their space and return to your own center. You cannot fix a distance that someone else has chosen to create. Let that sink in. Realizing this may break your heart a little, but it is also the dawn of your true freedom. Because beneath the frantic urge to fix the situation, a mirror is waiting for you. And this is where the next truth begins. 3. The mirror of attachment. What if the profound pain of their withdrawal is not just about them, but a mirror reflecting the pieces of yourself you have slowly abandoned? Here is a truth that is incredibly difficult to hold. When we love someone deeply, we often unknowingly intertwine our own identity with their presence. We hand them the keys to our happiness. Their attention becomes the only validation that matters. Their willingness to share the mundane details of their day becomes the very gauge by which we measure our own self-worth. So, when they begin to pull back, we do not just feel the loss of their words. We feel the terrifying, earth-shattering collapse of our own foundation. We feel hollowed out. We sit in silence, measuring our value by the tiny breadcrumbs of attention they happen to leave behind, wondering why we are suddenly not enough. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that there is a vast difference between love and attachment. Love simply wants the other person to be well, to be free, and to be happy, even if their path diverges from yours. Attachment, however, demands that the other person act in a way that makes us feel safe. In Buddhist thought, this intense clinging is a mirror. The deep suffering you feel right now is not a punishment. It is an honest reflection showing you precisely where you have outsourced your own joy, your own peace, and your own center to a force entirely outside of your control. Imagine a quiet, vast lake perfectly reflecting the light of a brilliant moon. As long as the moon hangs in the clear night sky, the water looks radiant and alive. But when heavy clouds roll in and cover the light, The lake suddenly feels dark, cold, and empty. The lake has forgotten that its true nature is water deep, still, and holding its own profound ecosystem. It became entirely dependent on a reflection in the sky to feel whole. In our modern relationships, we often become the lake waiting for the moon. We wait for their early morning text to decide if we are allowed to have a good day. We rely entirely on their mood to dictate our own inner weather. When their messages grow short or their answers become vague, our entire world goes completely dark. We abandon our own passions, we ignore our own friends, we lose touch with our own quiet depth, simply because the person we anchored ourselves to has shifted their light away. Think about that. Ask yourself a deeply honest question right now. How much of your daily peace relies entirely on what this one person says or does not say to you? Have you forgotten who you are when you are not desperately trying to secure their attention? Are you confusing their distance with your own lack of worth? Pause. Breathe. Bring your awareness back into your own body. You are not merely a reflection of someone else's love or attention. You possess your own immense depth. The next time the sharp panic of their silence sets in, do not immediately reach out to them in a frantic attempt to feel seen. Stop. Sit with yourself. Let the uncomfortable feeling rise. Observe the fear, without letting it convince you that you are fundamentally broken or empty. You are whole, even when you are ignored. Because true peace is not found by demanding the moon to shine on you forever. It is found in remembering that you are the deep water, complete in the light and complete in the dark. But returning to that still water requires stepping back from the struggle. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The art of letting things be. What if the greatest act of love is not fighting to hold on, but simply allowing things to be exactly as they are? We are deeply conditioned to fight for what we love. We believe that if someone begins to pull away, our job is to reach out and pull them back. We equate relentless effort with devotion. We convince ourselves that if we just find the perfect string of words or wait for the exact right moment, we can reverse their withdrawal and return to the warmth of the past. But this constant resistance only creates a bitter, exhausting war inside your own mind. You are arguing with the reality of this exact moment. You are refusing to accept that their silence is not a mistake. It is a choice they are actively making. In Buddhist thought, a massive portion of our suffering comes directly from resistance. We suffer because we argue with reality. The practice of non-attachment does not mean you become cold, and it does not mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop demanding that people and situations bend to your will. Buddhism reminds us that everything in this life is subject to change, including the feelings, capacities, and presence of those we hold dear. True acceptance is not a form of defeat. It is the profound wisdom of dropping the agonizing struggle against a reality that is already unfolding. Imagine a tall, sturdy tree standing in the middle of a vast field as a fierce autumn wind begins to blow. The wind sweeps through, stripping the golden leaves from the branches one by one. If the tree could somehow tense up, if it could clench its branches to forcefully hold onto every single leaf, the fierce resistance would only snap its limbs. Instead, the tree simply stands. It roots deeper into the earth, stays centered in its own trunk, and allows the wind to take what is naturally ready to fall. It lets go. In your life right now, the wind is their shifting energy. The leaves are the long, intimate conversations you used to have, the unprompted messages, the quiet vulnerability they once shared with you. You are trying to tense your branches, fighting desperately to keep the season from turning. You are exhausting your spirit by resisting a change that is already here. Every time you send another message, hoping to resurrect a quiet conversation, every time you monitor their online status while they ignore you, you are fighting the wind. You are breaking your own branches to keep a leaf that is already blowing away. Think about your own resistance. Ask yourself, what are you actually achieving by fighting their silence? Are you bringing them closer to your heart, or are you just breaking your own spirit in the process? Pause, breathe, unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders. Let the terrifying feeling of losing control wash over you without fighting it. Stop trying to orchestrate the outcome. Let them be distant. Let the silence exist between you. Let things be exactly as they are right now, without rushing in to fix them. You do not have to like the silence, but you must stop fighting it. Because only when you stop resisting the reality of their distance can you begin to reclaim your own deep worth. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. Reclaiming your dignity. What if the price of holding on to them has quietly become your own self-respect? Here is a difficult reality to face. When you are deeply attached to someone who is slowly withdrawing, your sense of self begins to dissolve. You start accepting behavior you would never have tolerated in the past. At first, it is just a late reply, and you brush it off. Then, it is vague answers, emotional distance, and a feeling that you are constantly intruding on their life. You take the scraps of attention they offer and convince yourself it is enough. You shrink yourself to fit into the tiny spaces they leave open for you. In the name of love, you slowly abandon your own dignity, quietly pleading for connection from someone who has already turned away. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true compassion must always include oneself. We often mistake relentless self-sacrifice for pure devotion, but in Buddhist thought, to dishonor your own intrinsic worth is to create deep, lingering suffering within your own spirit. Non-attachment is not just about letting go of the other person. It is about letting go of the desperate, fearful version of yourself that believes you must beg to be seen. When you compromise your dignity to keep someone around, you are telling your own heart that you are not worthy of a natural, flowing connection. Imagine a magnificent, sturdy boat built to sail across the vast and open ocean. But instead of sailing, the boat is tied with a tight, fraying rope to a crumbling wooden dock in shallow, rocky water. As the tide shifts and the winds blow, the boat repeatedly crashes against the rocks. Its hull gets scraped, splintered, and damaged. It stays tightly tied to the dock because it is afraid of the deep water, choosing the familiar pain of the shallow rocks over the unknown freedom of the open sea. In your everyday life, compromising your dignity is just like that frayed rope. It is the decision to send another long message to someone who has clearly ignored the last 3. It is the act of waiting by your phone all evening, putting your own life on pause, just in case they decide to offer you 5 minutes of their time. It is the quiet, humiliating realization that you are doing all the rowing in a space they have already abandoned. You are scraping your own spirit against the rocks, just to stay attached to a dock that cannot hold you. Think about your own life. Ask yourself this right now. If a dear friend came to you, acting exactly the way you are acting for this person, what would you say to them? Would you tell them to keep waiting in the dark, or would you tell them it is time to stand up and walk into the light? Pause, breathe, reclaim your energy. Pull your focus away from their silence and bring it back into your own physical body. Stop offering your precious time and emotional labor to a space where it is no longer valued. You do not step back to punish them or to manipulate them into missing you. You step back to remember who you are. You are allowed to love them, but you are not required to lose yourself in the process. True love never asks for the surrender of your dignity, but stepping back into your own power leaves a sudden, profound quiet in your life. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. The space we cannot fill. What if the terrible emptiness you feel when they pull away was never truly about them in the first place? Here is a truth that is incredibly hard to sit with. Often, The profound panic of someone's silence is just the echo of our own inner void. When someone we love starts sharing less, we feel an overwhelming sense of deprivation. But look closer at that panic. We frequently use other people to distract ourselves from our own profound loneliness. We use their texts, their affection, and their presence to muffle our own insecurities. When they withdraw, it feels like they are taking away our only source of comfort. We are suddenly left alone in the quiet, and that terrifies us. We were using their presence to fill a space that was entirely our own. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that no external condition, no person, no relationship, no amount of validation can ever permanently fill the void within us. We suffer because we constantly try to use impermanent, shifting things to satisfy a deep, spiritual hunger. When we look to another human being to be our ultimate source of wholeness, we place an impossible burden on them, and we set ourselves up for inevitable heartbreak. Buddhism reminds us that true refuge can never be found in something outside of yourself. The quiet space inside you is not a flaw to be fixed by another person's attention. Imagine a vast, ancient well that has run dry. Instead of clearing the debris at the bottom to find its own natural spring, you rely on someone else to walk to a distant river and carry buckets of water back to fill it. As long as they keep bringing the water, you feel full, you feel safe. But the moment they grow tired, or the moment they choose to walk a different path, the water stops coming, the well dries up again. The panic sets in, not because the other person is cruel, but because you forgot that the well was always meant to draw water from its own deep source. In our modern lives, we constantly rely on borrowed water. It is the urge to immediately pick up your phone and seek a distraction the second you realize they have not replied. It is using their affection to avoid facing your own unhealed grief, your fear of failure, or your deep-seated worry that you are fundamentally unworthy. When they stop sharing their life with you, you aren't just missing their voice. You are suddenly face to face with yourself on a quiet evening, with absolutely nothing to distract you. Think about your own life. Ask yourself right now, what are you actually avoiding when you obsess over their distance? If you forcefully pull your attention away from their silence, what loud noise within your own mind are you terrified of finally hearing? Are you missing them, or are you just terrified of being alone with yourself? Pause, breathe. The next time the silence feels deafening, do not immediately reach out. Do not run to a distraction. Just sit in the empty space. Let the silence of the room hold you. Let the uncomfortable loneliness rise to the surface without trying to push it down. You are safe. You do not need them to fill the quiet. The space they left behind is not a punishment, but an invitation to finally meet yourself. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. Redirecting your energy. What if the immense energy you spend agonizing over their absence is the exact fuel you need to illuminate your own life? Here is a profound reality of the human mind. When someone we love begins to pull away, they often take up more space in our thoughts, not less. The less they share with us, the more we obsess over what they are hiding, what they are doing, and what they are feeling. You wake up and your first thought is of them. You go to sleep replaying the fading echoes of their voice. You become entirely consumed by a phantom. Without realizing it, you are taking all of your vital life force, all of your precious daily energy, and pouring it into a void that gives absolutely nothing back. You are starving your own life to feed an illusion. In Buddhist thought, our attention is our most sacred resource. Where we place our focus dictates the reality we experience. Mindfulness teaches us that suffering multiplies when we constantly project our minds into spaces where we have no control, like the heart or the mind of another person. When you obsess over their distance, you are abandoning the present moment. You are abandoning your own physical reality. Buddhism reminds us that peace returns the exact second we recall our scattered energy and bring it back into the sanctuary of the present. Imagine a single bright candle burning warmly in a quiet room. It has a limited amount of wax, but its steady flame brings light and comfort to the entire space. Now, imagine taking that precious candle and carrying it outside into a fierce, freezing storm to search for someone who has already walked away into the night. The harsh wind will violently whip the flame, melting the wax quickly until it is entirely blown out. You did not find them, and now you are left standing in total darkness yourself. In our modern lives, we carry our candles into the storm every single day. It is the hour you spend staring at your phone, checking to see if they are active online, while your own work or passions sit neglected on your desk. It is the evening you spend completely lost in anxious thoughts about their silence, missing the beauty of the quiet sunset right outside your window. You are taking the brilliant light of your own life and throwing it into a storm of overthinking. You are letting your own room go dark just to chase a shadow. Think about your own life. Ask yourself right now, what could you create? What could you heal? Or what could you build? If you took all the frantic energy you are pouring into their silence and poured it directly back into yourself, how much of your own life are you missing while you wait for them to return? Pause. Breathe. Notice where your attention is wandering right now. The next time the urge arises to check on them or to ruminate on why they have pulled back, gently catch yourself. Do not judge the thought, but do not follow it into the storm. Pull your focus back to your own hands, back to your own breathing, back to the room you are sitting in. Keep your light inside. Let them walk their path and begin the quiet, beautiful work of tending to your own flame. Because true healing is not about forcefully forgetting them. It is about gently remembering yourself. And this is where the final truth begins. 8. Peace in what is. What if the silence between you is not the end of your story, but the quiet beginning of your return to yourself? Let us go back to the painful reality where we started. You noticed the subtle shift. You felt the warmth fade. You saw the person you love begin to share less and less of their life with you, and it terrified you. Your first instinct was to panic, to chase, to fix, and to quietly compromise your own dignity just to keep a fading connection alive. You tried to hold the ocean in your hands. You stood knocking endlessly on a closed door. You carried your only precious candle out into a freezing storm. But what have you learned in the quiet? You have learned that their withdrawal is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply the shifting weather of another human being. In Buddhist thought, to reach true inner peace, we must finally lay down the heavy, exhausting burden of trying to control the uncontrollable. The ultimate lesson of non-attachment is not coldness. It is not about building a massive wall around your heart and refusing to ever love again. True non-attachment is deeply courageous. It is the profound ability to look at the person you love, recognize that they are pulling away, and say quietly to yourself, I love you, but I do not need to possess you. I love you, but I will not lose myself to keep you. Imagine a beautiful wild bird that has rested in the palm of your open hand for a long time. You loved its song, you cherished its company, but one day it looks toward the vast sky and lifts its wings. If you violently close your fingers in a desperate panic to trap the bird, you will only crush it. You will destroy the very beauty you loved. But if you keep your hand open, the bird takes flight. Yes, your hand is suddenly empty, but it is also unharmed. And because it remains open, it is ready to receive whatever life brings next. In your life, keeping your hand open means letting them have their silence. It means accepting that if a connection requires you to abandon your own dignity, it is not a connection rooted in true love. You do not have to forcefully stop caring for them. You simply have to stop fighting reality. You have to let the river flow at its own natural pace without trying to push the water. Think about the journey you have just taken. Ask yourself this final question. Are you ready to stop fighting? Are you ready to step out of the exhausting cycle of waiting, analyzing, and endlessly trying to prove your worth to a closed door? Pause. Breathe. Place your hand over your own heart. Feel the steady, beautiful rhythm beneath your chest. You are still here. You survived the sharp panic. You survived the agonizing silence. The emptiness they left behind was not a void meant to destroy you. It was a clearing, a vast, quiet space created so that you could finally see yourself clearly again. Do your part in this world. Offer your profound warmth to those who meet you halfway. But when the tide pulls out, let it go. When the door closes, let it shut. When the silence comes, let it be quiet. Do not abandon yourself just because someone else could not stay. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. Peace was never outside of you.